just repeat the question so that it could be heard. I'm not confident that the laptop's going to pick everything up the way the official microphone does. So, there we go. So in October, we had multiple events. We sent people a lot of different directions. And with our budget, which is strained right now, we want to make the absolute most out of all of this travel. Now, some of the folks that went were covered on grants. Some of this was hard money, but we want to start modeling this idea of people that went to all these different, what did I see? What did I learn? And hey, I heard about this. I can't do anything about it, but you might be interested. And so just to share those things informally. So we'll get through most of these folks today. Not everybody is here. Steve Greb went to MRCI at Morgantown. Jinming went to Vancouver. Gina and John went to the Earth MRI meeting. And so we're not only going to do GSA today, we'll touch a little bit on those as well, because it has some relevance for some of the other stuff that we're doing. So this is an experiment, all right? What I'm going to ask each person to do, because we're going to have a lot of transition time here, one sentence. What did you present? Okay. This isn't about repeating your presentation. If somebody's interested in that, we've got your abstract. They can talk with you. We can set up a seminar to go through and redo this presentation. That's a different thing. What did you learn that you plan to use here? What are you bringing back that you plan to deploy? Did you meet anybody that was a useful contact for you or could be a useful contact for someone else at KGS? Did you hear of new possible funding opportunities? And did you hear about any possible future research trends? What's the hot new thing going to be, right? So as each of you speaks, this slide's just going to be up there. Okay, we're just going to keep coming back to this slide so you have that to work off of. So there's your cue. Should be very similar to what we sent you in the prep. I'll start. Okay, one thing I had a presentation that was a poster just about KGS. That poster's laying out in the back. You're welcome to look at it. None of it should be a surprise to you. It's you. The other thing was I did a presentation on the historical and cultural context of stone walls here in Central Kentucky. I ended up in a lot of meetings, so I didn't get as much time as usual to visit presentations and posters, but in the little bit of time I did, I got some information about community engagement, about public communication, some interesting inclusion ideas and approaches and implementation of inclusion, and also just some very practical information about getting our UAV-based gamma spectrometer calibrated at a facility in Colorado if we choose to do that. Some people that I talked to that are probably going to be interacting with KGS, Al Giuseppe from Pennsylvania is their mapping coordinator. He's going to be coming in to visit Earl on December 7th. I may ask him to maybe give a presentation that day too, right? So he does a lot of stuff relative to our GIS work, our geoframework work, state map work, et cetera. John Yelich is state geologist in Michigan. They've got new funding for setting up a new core facility. They're interested in learning some details. They have specific questions about Earl that they're following up with us on. National Academy of Science, Engineering, Medicine is very interested in state geological organizations being involved with their boards. They have a lot of respect for the practical applied work that we do, not just us, but all state surveys. And so they may be reaching out to us for some expert content and expert participants in some of their events. I got to specifically have dinner with the person that runs a couple of these boards, and she was very specific that by me getting in her face, she was going to be coming at us for volunteering. So that's a great opportunity for some of us. And then we just talked to a lot of students who are interested in KGS in UK. One interesting thing is there is a funding opportunity through NSF that pays for student internships. Okay, so not to pay for the grad students' classwork or their research, but if the student is funded by NSF on a project, they can request funding to go work somewhere as an internship. State geological surveys were on the list. It was specifically presented to the state geologists that this was an opportunity for them to get student work and interact with these NSF funded students. Unless the NSF money would go to the host grant PI to fund the student to come work for us, would be the way that would work. We wouldn't get the funding, but we would get the student. Hot topics.
I was going to ask, is that for a student working on a PhD, for example, that we could, it's the student's project, the continuation of the student's project, or is it separate?
Separate experience, which means you have to find somebody willing to extend the time to graduation for their student by 6 months. Okay, there's the catch. But sometimes that works out for somebody. So it's not, I don't expect, so I expect there's going to be a rush of people wanting the students, but not a rush of advisors wanting to push their students into it. But it's still there. And so if we have NSF funded students nearby who are interested in related work, we could get them supported for a few months to carry them forward. That is, there is some flexibility in there, but it is for separate experience. Yeah. So with AIPG, GSA, AGI, National Academies, the International Union of Geological Sciences, the same topics kept coming up. Critical minerals, energy transition, carbon management, hazard and resource sustainability, changing climate, environmental justice, geology and health, workforce development, over and over and over and over again. That's what everybody's worried about at the big level. We do all, we have aspects of all of that, right? So we're in a good place. But that's what's coming down the pipe. That's what people are looking to build programs in. That's what they're looking to build funding opportunities in. That's what they're looking to do. So that's what I got from GSA. Questions? You want to go next? Want to do it alphabetically? All right, let's do that. I mean, I know the answer is no, not really. Right, but so there's your.
Thank you. Okay, so what did I present? I presented a poster on I did a lab experiment on 2 different types of dye packets for doing dye trace studies. There's a traditional, oh, that's more than one sentence. Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. Anyways, what new things did you learn?
Not to be literal about the one sentence, just keep it concise. That's good.
Okay. What did I learn? I learned a lot about dye trace receptors and the materials that they're used. I had a lot of people come and talk to me at the poster. There's been a lot of work done by other groups, some up in Minnesota as well. Is Minnesota? Yes. And so I've learned that these milk filter socks that we were using for our dye receptors, there are different brands of these, and these also matter. So while we tested one material against another material, there are other things that might matter. I learned lots about complications of dye tracing from a man named Gareth Davies, who talked to me quite a bit. What else? That was what I learned about dye stuff. Let's see, did I meet anybody that could be a useful contact for others at KGS? You also mentioned Al Giuseppe, who talked about a first workshop that they are looking to put together. It's not put together yet, but they're in the planning stages. So that's something that would be good to like keep for us Carsey folks, keep in mind and see as that develops when that is and where that is. We said where it was, but I can't remember. Yeah. So they're planning that. I mean, I met a lot of people in my field that I had not met before, which is it's harder and harder to find Cape and Karst folks that I hadn't met before. But I met several at this GSA and got the chance to talk to them. What else? Funding opportunities. I did not. Future research trends and topics. I mean, climate change is definitely a common theme. yeah, I did have a really good meeting. And so it was like the most cards that I've ever passed out and the most cards that I'd ever received. I talked to a bunch of students at the KGS table. We really plugged the Potter internship quite a bit. And there are a lot of there's actually like a lot of karst folks that were interested in the Potter internship too. So we got the word out there. There's a small group down at WKU that are also interested. And so, yeah, thanks. So,
Perfect.
do you have more questions? Anybody, does anybody have questions? Okay. Okay.
So you can, Steve, you can do GSA and MRCI.
Okay. Hi, everybody. MRCI is one of the carbon storage projects that we're on, and they have an annual meeting every year. This year it was in Morgantown. There's a lot going on in carbon storage, and a lot of people look at it as still kind of a pie in the sky, but there's about 5 wells that are already being drilled with injection going on in the Midwest. There are 2 large pipelines being built through the property is being bought to potentially build through the Great Plains and move CO2 from the Great Plains into the Illinois Basin and inject it there. They are currently running into some roadblocks with that as a shock, but really is moving forward. And if anybody's kind of interested in that, I have access to the MRCI website that had all the presentations. It's 2 or 3 days of presentation. In your slide, you had up on the end, social justice, some of the other ones, workforce development. Those are being driven by federal grants. So anything that the Department of Energy sponsors, those are huge parts of the grants now. It's not just word service, it's a big part of the project. So there are a lot of presentations on Native American lands, on local workforce development, engaging the public. Big one with carbon storage on engaging the public was try not to use supercritical as a word because the public thinks something's going to explode. So every industry person that got up said, don't use supercritical, please. Just call it dense carbon storage. There was a lot of industry interest, much more than in previous years. So this is something that as the pipelines get developed and DOE starts actually doing some more of this, we're going to get more Kentucky companies calling us. We already are getting a lot of Kentucky companies calling us and saying, is this real or not? The funding opportunities are with the Department of Energy, but also with the private companies. More and more, as this becomes real, it's going to be up to the industry to pay for stuff themselves. So we've been in this for a while. We're going to keep being in it. Oh, and carbon and hydrogen now. Hydrogen's the other new thing. So that if you do not know, DOE has sponsored several hydrogen hubs around the US. There's at least 1 already working, and there are 5, I think, in the eastern US that have been funded, where they are going to develop different kinds of hydrogen. These are usually given colors: blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, gray hydrogen, depending on where the hydrogen is coming from. So are you breaking the hydrogen from water, from ethanol, from whatever, or is it naturally coming out of the ground? And then there's a byproduct that you almost always have to get rid of. So this is where the intersection of carbon storage research and hydrogen storage research, because it's all got to go into some reservoir in the ground. So a lot of the hydrogen research that you will hear much more about, because DOE is throwing large amounts of money at this, is going to use the CO2 research that's already done. A lot of cooperative state projects on that, multi-state efforts with Department of Energy on these hydrogen projects. Probably it for carbon storage. GSA, I chaired a session honoring Frank Ettinson, who's still here. Sometimes people hear honoring somebody and they think somebody's passed away, so Frank's still alive. and went to a couple of other sessions that were in honor of somebody. And then gave a talk on our carbon, on port pane geology down around Lake Cumberland, stratigraphy sedimentology, and then gave a poster on stratigraphy from our CO2 work. Same kind of things you talked about, lots of energy. Cortland, we went to a ton of REE and critical minerals talks. I'll bring up a couple of pet peeves on those. One, if you give a presentation on something, it's okay to give your data, but don't sit there afterwards and say, oh, we should try and figure out if this is allied with this, or future research would be XYZ, when XYZ was done 10 years ago. So know the topic you're talking about. I don't know how many we saw where somebody said, oh, we should see if this is associated with this, and Cortland and me are looking at each other going, that's pretty well known, I think. Okay, so know what you're talking about when you get up. I would say we saw plenty of talks that should have been posters. If you're given a poster, you get to talk to people for a long time all day. You have questions, like you're just given results, but you don't know what the answers are or what that data may be good for. Give a poster, don't give a talk. Because then you get to sit there and talk with people and get interaction with people, instead of being up there and going, I don't know what this means, but here it is. And we saw a couple of them. And lastly, if you're in a session that honors somebody, at least mention that person's name once in your talk. I went to 3 different sessions that were in honor of somebody and had multiple talks in those that never mentioned who was being honored. So.
Any questions, anything? Just start working our way back. Shanae, you want to talk about your trip? Real quick?
Well, yeah. I went to meeting, this is pretty narrow, it's actually big meeting, they're not what they, right now, every computer get a powerful, people want to utilize a power computer to ground motion model. Basically try to, the goal is find out that we can utilize this model to provide a condition for head, for ground shaking by head. It's a complicated issue, basically you had to understand basic earthquake source. And then you also understand how to get from source to this side. Again, you had to understand the underlying basic earth model. And then comes side, also side effect. My talk really more focus side effect. But because my background, my PhD study is 2D ground motion model. So it kind of still hanging in my mind. I think the biggest lesson I see now again is more computer oriented or AI oriented. That popping up. My key point I try to make, if you don't have a good or reasonable Earth model, what the result you can produce? In very good, in my section, the one that presented by the USGS, they present, a lady present that the over Pacific Northwest, compared to earlier basic geology model, and now they have improved model. It can show you clear improvement in terms of model results. So I use that as an example. It's a good example. I say this, look, if we don't really focus on first thing first, get a basically reasonable Earth model, right? What can you model? It can be anything. And then my focus on my side effect. Fortunately, over the pandemic, I was able to sit down in the home because we work home. I was able to look in the Japanese, the borehole array database. Again, you look in the hundreds. I only was able to pull out about 100 borehole. I do everything check. I look at every record, every their borehole result, and then I can hand check. And then can show, okay, this borehole, their data is reliable or really not reliable. I present it, it's less than 50%. The borehole data is reliable. So then I look around right now, publication is all use, many of them use machine learning.
And then you can see conclusion is what you can see. So that's, I think the big lesson is clear again. My key point is, hey, this, you've got to do the basic homework first, get the 3D model. Basic, we are geologists. We are geologists. We need to get our geology done first.
I'm gonna get you to write an endorsement letter for my next.
That's it. Again, that's a big lesson. I know that for me, I think every time is learning, now, and particularly talk to young, energetic, new generation researcher and like graduate student. There's a machine learning, every time I say, come on, good. But again, 3D model, base model is not correct. What are you doing? What are we doing? If machine learning can take over, should everybody be here? Thank
Thank you. Stay on the topic, so. Two meetings, so I've got to go to 2 meetings. Good. 18.
Good teams. So yes, I was at GSA first, and at GSA I presented on the MRCI project that Steve mentioned, and the focus of that presentation was on bringing together the data that we've assembled to give some kind of assessment tool to determine sites that may be to first order susceptible to induced earthquakes. So bringing together the earthquake data and then the geological data that largely, I guess, Tom and Steve and John have been responsible for, and then just make like an isopac map and then plot seismicity on it and see what you see. So that was it. I think a well-received poster. There was some interest in it, and again under the context of carbon sequestration, which is one of the very hot topics these days. Let's see. So, but first though, I actually co-convened a session on intraplate deformation, and of course that intersects with my interest as an earthquake seismologist, and it was well attended. And I guess that's probably because Basil Tikoff was there, and he's apparently a really famous structural geologist. And he was a co-convener that I met while there, so that worked out well. But most of the talks were on laramide orogeny, which we don't really interact with much. But there was some helpful presentations on some of the larger structural features that extend across in the basement of Central Eastern U.S. and how those could relate to ongoing deformation that we see now and present seismic hazards. Talk on New Madrid and sort of narrowing down the possible causes of the earthquakes that would happen in 1811, 1812, and trying to get to understand the hazard better. And then some talks on stress and how that relates to contemporary earthquakes. So that was a very meaningful session to participate in large part to be beside, a couple of really renowned researchers. So that was nice. And I plan to use, some of this newfound structural knowledge, for my own understanding of earthquake hazards and features to look for here that could affect Kentucky. I did not make any new contacts, I think, necessarily, but I did sit beside a guy that I'm hoping to collaborate with, who is one of those successful researchers, particularly in our part of the world, and did not catch news of new possible funding opportunities except potential collaboration. So that's really helpful to me. And then again, I think I've kind of already touched on the last bullet point there about future research areas. One area that I'm hoping to sort of bring on board here that John and I have talked about a bit is to model fault susceptibility using these it's called a fault slip potential. It's a model out of Stanford that's popular these days, and there was a talk on that in our session, and the fellow that I'm hoping to collaborate with is really skilled at that. So those are both good. And then let's see, the next Sunday I was on the airplane to Dallas, where we had the annual meeting of the Eastern section of the Seismological Society of America. And a lot of sort of meetings to go to there. I'm on the executive committee, so there's things to do related to just the organization. I gave the same poster, so that was nice to recycle. And the only person that was at both meetings was one of my co-conveners. So it was good that he was already okay. You know, I didn't have to explain anything new to him. But got, a little bit more feedback on the poster, which was helpful. A lot of talks on dew seismicity. That's still a big topic, and it's an active area of concern, particularly in the Permian Basin. And so I'm always interested in potential collaborations on that topic, especially as we've looked into it somewhat, at least in Eastern Kentucky, as the Rogersville Shale is being tested. Another area that we'll be going into soon, using the FEMA funding that we just received, is infrasound. And so I'm considering all the interesting uses of infrasound. And if you don't know what that is, those are the acoustical waves that various phenomena set up and that bounce around the atmosphere and reflect down to the Earth's surface. So sort of the inverted analogy to what we seismologists usually think of, but to study various sources of energy. So there's a lot of interest, you might imagine, in, say, nuclear monitoring that uses infrasound. But I saw some talks, actually going back to GSA, on using infrasound to study like rock slides and flood monitoring. So I thought, well, we have some overlap with that. That's an interesting area. And then back to this Dallas meeting, they were presenting on similar topics of monitoring, real-time monitoring, but then a lot on the nuclear side of things. So that's not stuff that we're interested in, but this is an area that we may be getting into soon. My interest in infrasound is for meteorological monitoring. So the strong storms in December 21, which were terrible in Western Kentucky, sort of brought about the possibility of looking at correlated signals between these strong storms and ground shaking that we can record with our seismic instruments. So there may be opportunities there that could spring off of what I'm learning, and also what's coming forth from this FEMA project. And then just other kind of earthquake analyses that, probably I don't have to talk to you about those because it'll bore you. But it was I'd say they were fruitful meetings. Good interactions with maybe a couple of USGS researchers who are interested in learning more about Russell Rogers' thesis research. And we're working in an area where they don't have a lot of data. That means there's a lot of uncertainty in their hazard modeling, which has big implications. So I'm hoping that may bring forth opportunity for us as well. Any questions? All right.
Well, Mayor. He's like, no, thank you. Yeah.
So I also gave a talk at GSA. It was the same root strength index talk that I gave for internal seminar here back in July. I just cut it down to about half the length of what it was. It's pretty well received. I didn't get any like crazy probing questions, so that was good. There was a guy from the North Carolina survey there that I got to talk to, and he suggested a method that I might try to determine tree density that actually corrects for like the angle of trees on slopes. So I'll be interested in getting back in touch with him and applying that and seeing if it makes a difference in those maps. In terms of contacts, aside from him, I got to actually meet Corey Scheip, who was the co-chair of the session. I think Hudson has worked with him before or met with him before. Faith Feeney, she's on the KGS advisory board. I got to talk with her a little bit, and I sent her my abstract because she wants to get us plugged in with someone that she knows in forestry to work on the root strength index stuff moving forward, and then any other things that we might all do. So Jason, you'll probably be most interested in that. Funding opportunities, not really. And then future research trends and topics, also not anything that I haven't mentioned already, but did spend a lot of time at the booth, and the Potter internship came up a lot. So if we ever open that up to students outside of Kentucky, there's a lot of people interested. And that was both current students looking for their own opportunities and like faculty members prowling around looking for student opportunities. So Mhm. That's pretty much all I got.
Steve. Sweep down this other side.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to be with you today. Today I'm going to talk about. I presented a talk about natural arches at the Geoheritage session that Drew was chairing. And I presented a poster on the fracture map of Hardin County. The only thing that I learned that I would like to use for my work is a talk that Ben Tobin gave about finding caves in the Daniel Boone National Forest using LiDAR and machine learning or artificial intelligence. Is there a difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence? Is it the same thing? Well, either way, I don't know where the buttons on either one of those. So I don't really know how to do that shit, but, oh, I'm sorry, that stuff. I didn't really meet anyone. I saw a handful of people I knew and I saw the talks. I went to a few talks honoring people and they were, I didn't really hear anything about funding opportunities and, you know, I don't know about future research. I'm just focused on what I do. So I'm sorry, that's a bad word.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So Gina and I went to the Earth MRI workshop. They have a workshop every year that part of that project funds, and so it was internally funded, which is nice. I didn't actually present anything there. I was there to observe and talk to people. Made a lot of contacts. Met a lot of people from USGS that I knew by name or by email, but I never actually met face to face before, so that was good and kind of filled in a lot of blanks to me of past research and past authorships and stuff that I've read. So that was good. Most of it was all focused on one project though, so it's not quite like GSA where there was a wide spectrum of different geologic topics. I mean, there was a wide spectrum because of the different states, and I did learn that how different, even though there's 35 states working in this Earth MRI project, every state has their own abilities and problems and situations they're in. And so watching how someone like Nevada deals with primarily plutonic rocks versus what we do, which is mostly Paleozoic sediments, is completely different. And so that was a little eye-opening. We did talk a lot with Anne McCafferty, who was one of the head geophysicists of the Earth MRI project. This meeting was in Reston. She's actually from their Lakewood office. But we had some good discussions with them, and they were very happy with what we were doing, what we were planning to do with the combined aeromagnetic and radiometric surveys that are being flown as part of the Earth MRI project. If you don't know, and you probably don't if you're not in the project, they are flying aeromagnetic data survey over about 70% of the state of Kentucky. And that is going to be what we have now is really old TVA and USGS data from the 1970s. The stuff that they are recording now, and actually their planes are in the air right now, is several orders of magnitude better. So I'm really excited to get our hands on that data. As far as future funding opportunities, again, it was all one project focused, but we did learn more about the mine waste and abandoned mine lands portion of the Earth MRI project. And Gina is going to do we're going to do a small project looking at the fluorspar district, basically at their talus piles from the old mines. And as far as future research trends and topics, more or less it was your last point. I mean, all those things we're talking about, workforce development, critical minerals, rare earth elements, energy transition, all those were duplicated almost word for word there. So all those topics are definitely in the federal mindset of the federal agencies that fund a lot of our work. So although I did not present, I thought it was a very beneficial meeting, and hopefully it'll open up possible future research off of that.
Somebody hit us with an extra pen, let me know.
My turn. Okay, so I presented on a kind of cool big collaboration amongst a whole variety of groups in the Daniel Boone National Forest. More excitingly, I had 3 students that were presenting, including our Potter intern from this summer, and 2 master students on their research. And through all of that, one thing I was reminded of that's actually valuable for anyone here that is interested in working in or is working in national park or national forest land in the state. They have a internship program that's internally funded that we can act as PIs for, or advisors for. So that's another pot of money that's out there to bring not necessarily funding for analyses, but boots on the ground to do work with these agencies. So there's that. Lot of interest across the boundaries. Let's see, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia state surveys all had a lot of interest in collaborating on karst work. So that is some potential fun stuff in the future. I think the big takeaway for me was I ended up spending way too long. One day we basically outlined an entire proposal for a middle or lower Mississippi River microplastic study across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio. So if anyone's interested in microplastics, let me know. Yeah, it's great. I think that's all I got. Cool.
I went up to the GSA meeting in Pittsburgh a little bit early because I co-led a field trip with Frank Ettinson and Dave Mocher on Saturday to beautiful Bismarck, West Virginia, which if you don't know is in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, about 40 miles to the southwest of Cumberland, Maryland. We got lucky because it was a rainy day. It rained all the way out there. It slowed to a drizzle, and we even had about 10 minutes of sunshine while we were on the outcrop, and then it rained all the way back. So it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of interest in the rocks we were looking at. This particular outcrop is in the latest Devonian strata. Frank is especially interested in the interval because it shows evidence of glaciation. There was a general cool down in the very latest Devonian time. And so you had alpine glaciation occurring in what are now the Appalachian Mountains. And so what we find are washout drop stones and things from those ancient glaciers. And coincidentally, if you've ever seen the drop stone over by Moorhead in the creek, that is also from late Devonian glaciation. As Steve mentioned, there were talking about trends in geosciences. In kind of my part of the world, right now, everything is rare earth elements and critical minerals. And I suffered through 3 days of constant rare earth critical minerals, which span a variety of things. I'll try to remain positive and say one of the key takeaways I came away from was that the DOE funded projects, which are national, they extend across the continent, each have unique things about them that other areas simply it doesn't apply. An example of that is the Southwest District, which would be New Mexico, Arizona, a big thing for them is access to land that is Native American habitat land. And in some cases, and even within those regions, what I found out was that some of the Native American governances really are in favor of having exploration on those lands, whereas others are just completely dead set against it. So it really is a site by site thing. But here in Kentucky, for example, or Central Appalachia, well, I don't think we have any native lands that are demarked as so. And so it. Okay. But it's not as big of a deal as it is for us. And also, as Steve said, I mean, there's a wide range of where people are in their research. Here in Kentucky, we've actually been doing rare earth element research on coal and coal-related stuff since 2012. We were one of the first groups that started this. And so, we have a bit of a head start on a lot of people. I gave a talk on Monday in the session that was dedicated to Frank Ettinson on polynomorph biostratigraphy of the late Devonian. Polynomorph is a word for pollen and spores. I think some of the younger people here in the audience probably don't know that, among other things, I am a Paleozoic palynologist. Palynology is the study of spores and pollen. So that's why I go through like gallons and gallons of hydrofluoric acid upstairs. The real good stuff. And as what invariably happens, and it happened at this meeting too, I gave a talk and immediately at least 3 people, would you be willing to look at this if I, so, and as of last month, I now have looked at coal or sediments from every continent on the earth. I finally looked at some Permian stuff from Antarctica. That was my last one. And I was also informed that I am the last academic Paleozoic palynologist left in North America. So I was informed I can't die anytime soon. I guess that's a good thing. I was co-author on 2 other abstracts. And I guess lastly, a good colleague of mine, good friend, Shifeng Dai from the China University of Mining and Technology in Beijing. He received the Gilbert Cady Award, which is the highest award that you can receive in our what is now the GSA Energy Division. It was formerly the Coal Geology Division. And so I became the official, unofficial photographer at his event. And afterwards, was forced to accept a trip back to China at some point in the near future.
Everybody. So I presented on landslide, some of the landslide machine learning models we've been using, and specifically looking at different inventories in different regions, different areas, and seeing what those model differences are. The long story short with that is models are different when you put different things into them. That's not too surprising. But the performance of these models isn't the only metric we should be using when we're selecting the models. We should actually look at these things. So that was kind of my main takeaway there. In some things I learned about, there's a really cool LiDAR point cloud differencing that they sort of have this sort of planner. It's technically proprietary, but I think I'll figure out a way to get around that. Characterization of landslides with like stereo nets. We don't do a lot of field characterization of our landslides, mostly because they're pluvial slop for the most part, but it'd be kind of interesting to get into and learn a little bit about. I learned a little bit about UAV applications, specifically on sinkholes, actually, as well as landslides, which was kind of cool and nice. And we're trying to use our UAV a lot more, so that's good. Let's see. I've been a lot of Tennessee students, doing a lot of different landslide related work. That was a good meet. And I also talked briefly with the I guess she's the hazard sort of lead at the National Forest Service. So that would maybe, that might have to be something useful. Outside of like GSA division student grants, I didn't hear a lot about funding sources. And really the interesting thing to me about future research trends and topics, other than everything that we've already talked about with critical minerals and what have you, is this sort of anthropogenic effect discussion. There was that, they had a session at GSA of what's the Crawford Lake in Canada that did that Anthropocene deciding feature in 1950, I think, with that, is it tritium? That layer, right? That's what we're calling the Anthropocene now, or maybe it's still being debated. But I talked to a lot of people who, you know, focused on these things like artisanal mining that maybe affects landslides, about this wagon track that had been built, and it sort of lowered the alluvial plain, and then all this sort of, with clear cutting, had all this soil move out and down and out into the Gulf of Mexico eventually. And thinking about anthropogenic effects and impacts, and especially with me and hazards, like what are those long-term effects? And is 1950 a good time to have an Anthropocene? Should we even have an Anthropocene? That's an entirely different discussion. But that sort of, maybe it is earlier than 1950. What is the full effects of stuff that we've been doing to our landscapes? I noticed a couple of small trends there, so I don't want to add something novel to our trends discussion. That might be a smaller one than obviously critical minerals, but it's out there. I think that's really interesting. Well, I got.
Thanks, sir. I'll also add on behalf of Darren, he gave a nice presentation on the methane. Did a really nice job with this, with that presentation. So can't speak for what else he got out of the meeting, but he gave a presentation on the work that he and Marty have been doing. Did a really nice job. So questions, discussion about what we've just talked about. We're pretty good about it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. So we can talk about the minimum for but it leads
The anticipation from the endowment return, it's of course based on investment performance over the year and stuff like that, but it sounds like 4 to 6 is at the moment a reasonable expectation ish. But we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Okay, anything else on that? All right, now the meta question. All right, we keep doing this. I got things out of that I didn't know we'd learn. So this is the point, right? That's kind of what I was hoping to glean from this. So, all right. So in December, we have 3 people going to AGU. That is a huge meeting. There's a lot going on there. So we'll do this again in January with anybody that's done a big travel in the meantime. So I'm going to KES tomorrow. Rebecca and Devin are there today. We do other meetings. November, December, we'll pick those up in January too, right? Again, the budget's ugly. And so we wanted to make the most out of these expenses, these investments. I don't know what the spring's gonna look like right now. You know, we're gonna have to watch things pretty carefully. So I think it is very important to get people out for exactly this reason. This is the whole point of getting to these conferences. I'll keep you updated, but by all means, look for opportunities. Let's talk about it. Let's aim for them. We'll see what we can do. So. Other discussion, other ideas? Once, twice. Y'all have a great weekend. And if somebody has my pen, bring it back. Bye, y'all.